welcome to How to Grow a Garden. I'm Scarlett, of course. Today I'm out working in the garden. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's the 3rd, maybe the 4th of September. I have to go check. And I'm working on the tomatoes. I have a beautiful pile of tomatoes here, and I really didn't do a lot of staking in the beginning of the year. I put in a few little ones, but of course the tomatoes got so much bigger that they completely grew out of the little bamboo sticks that I used and the small stake, you know, things you can buy at the store kind of thing. So what I'm doing is I've got these large iron stakes. This is how I'm going to stake up my tomatoes. Now it's September, so it's really the end of the growing season, but I always like to grow some of my tomatoes really late so that I have lots of extra tomatoes going into the fall, which is always a great idea. You know, if you grow them in April, May, and June, well then what happens for July and August, right? But if you grow them a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, then you have that continuous harvest, which is something I really like to do, and I recommend definitely trying it if you haven't already. Okay, so what I've done here, this is 2 long pieces of string or twine, and I've just taken the whole thing, pulled it across, tied it in the middle, and let the pieces hang down, so then I have 4 pieces. So what I can do with my tomatoes, I can put my stake in the ground and I can wrap the tomato. Now I'm talking about tomatoes that are pretty much coming from the bottom and going out, because I didn't do a lot of maintenance on them. I've got so many. I did maintenance here and a little bit there, but not so much in this bed. But I really want to do this now because I want the sun to come in on the tomatoes and ripen them, and also because of, well, the way it looks. I want it to be pretty, and the flowers in the background are okay, and I think maybe if the tomatoes were a little taller. All summer long the zucchinis have been really big in front of these tomatoes. So the tomatoes have kind of been in the background, but now that the zucchinis are practically gone, they're very small. The whole plant has been cut back, and so it's really tiny. I want the tomatoes to be front and center stage. Okay, so this is the bed that I'm going to be working on. So here I've already twined, or I've already wrapped these tomatoes, this one here and this one, around these 2 iron stakes. Now what I have additionally is this long one and a whole bunch that are kind of flopped over. In case anybody's wondering out there, you can grow tomatoes without staking them. It really is okay. They grow perfectly fine on the ground. They'll just come up and flop down. You may want to trim them back, but you don't have to. So if you're really not into doing any work in your garden, you want to just put it in the plant and walk away, make sure it's got a lot of space, similar to a squash that's going to really sprawl out, and then just leave it and see how it goes. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get the best harvest or you're going to have, you know, the most success, but it is possible. You can absolutely do it without staking. I want to stake because I'm really interested in having this whole area stand up and look beautiful. So we've got this one here, I've got another one here. And what I want to do first is just weave them out and lay them across the ground because they're very flimsy. That's another thing. You can move your tomatoes. You can totally, like, okay, they're pretty heavy because the beefsteaks in here are getting big, but you can totally move them. Just be really gentle. So what you want to do is go all the way back and figure out where it's coming from, where it's going, and then untwine it and then unknot it from all the rest of these. Then I'm going to start with the main one. So it looks like that would be this. Okay. Alright, now we've got the second one. So this one, none of these are very tall. This is annoying. This really messes with my strings at the top. Alright, I'm going to put some new strings at the top. Okay, so these are the strings I already have, but they're going to be too short. So I'm just going to add a new one on, like so. Okay, so now I've got this one. So I've already got a string here. So what I want to do now is bring it up. I don't think weaving is going to be possible. Maybe a little on the top here, kind of twisting it in so the branches are the different directions. And I just want to bring my string down, wrap my string around the actual stalk or tomato vine here. Wrap it a few times, bring it back up, and then tie it. Okay, so again, no, I'm not worried about this ties being too tight or cutting off the circulation of tomatoes. They're all done growing. At this point, they're just ripening up with the tomatoes. I want to get the tomatoes off the ground, hopefully get a little more sun to them so they can ripen better, so I can see them and access them. Because previously they were all over the ground and I couldn't access them at all. Now I am considering the placement of these tomatoes, definitely considering where they're going and that the sun is going to have access to them. You can do this in the spring. I know a lot of people like to make a big fuss about tying up tomatoes, and it has to be perfectly done and nice and loose, and you can't have it too tight and all that good stuff. The tomato will just grow around it. Even if you go in too tight, it'll just make a little scab and grow around. Alright, so for this one, I really like it if the tomatoes are not all on top of each other. I want to just remove some of this foliage so that so that it'll fit better with the other ones. So I want these tomatoes to be over to the side a little bit here. I think that'll be perfect. And again, I'm going to wrap it around. Be really gentle. Make sure you move everything out of the way so that you're kind of leaving the tomato amongst the other branches. Okay, I'm going to bring the front around here. Which will look really nice. Now the best thing to do if you're going to do something like this is have somebody help you, because they can hold it up nice and tight and then you can tie it on. But that is not going to work for me today. And I'm going to hope that that holds. Wrap it once or twice and then tie it along the string. Look, Jamie. Look, new ground. And come look for some worms. You gotta get over this leaf, don't you? Here, let me help. There you go. That's not a worm, silly. So now that I have access to the tomatoes like this, I can see if there's any leaves that might be starting with a little bit of blight. When you spray your bed and the water splashes from the ground up onto your plants, and you get a little bit of soil onto the leaves, that will cause blight. Now, I've heard people say that there are other reasons. It could be because of your area or your season or your environment or your weather, whatever, but no matter what kind of plant you're dealing with, you want to avoid getting the water to splash from the ground up onto your plant, which is another great reason to stake your tomatoes, because while they're on the ground, they're much more susceptible to something like blight. So now that I've cleared this out, and the ducks are obviously happy, they've got a new place to sit in the dirt, and the rabbits are going to be thrilled because they can now run in and out really easily. I'm going to get some parsley, maybe even a line of carrots. I have some carrots, although I'm not sure how well that will go over with the pets. I think they might go crazy and want to eat them really quickly. What else? Oh, and definitely kale. I want to put in some kale. So a lot of those things, I know that sounds like a ton, a lot of those things will be done before other things really take off. So, and these will definitely be done pretty quickly. I think in the next month or so these will be completely done. And then I'll be pulling these guys out of the garden all together, and I'll have even more space. That's how I stake my tomatoes. This is after the fact, of course. We're in September. It's a little late to be staking your tomatoes, but it is a good way to do it. I'm going to turn around so they can see your face, huh? So if you're getting a lot of rain and you're wondering why your tomatoes are splitting, well, that's the answer. You're getting a lot of rain. If your tomatoes are splitting and you're not getting a lot of rain, it would be because you're watering it too much. Thanks for watching. I'm Scarlett. This was How to Grow a Garden. I'll see you in the next episode. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe.